We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Welcome to Whitelandia. We're doing it live. We're doing it. We're doing it live. I'm dressed like this again because I don't have air conditioning and I have to turn my fans off. Because if I don't turn my fans off, then you can't hear anything. So that's why I'm dressed like this. So don't worry. I'm not going to be showing off any part of my skin other than my arms today. I'm going to wear this over my chest. So that's how the video is going to go. But today's topic is Whitelandia. Whitelandia. I'm living in Whitelandia. I wrote a song called I'm Living in Whitelandia. I'm living in Whitelandia. And it was real in my mind. But in my mind, it was real. But in my mind, it was real. You know why it was real? Because I remember it. I remember living there. I remember living in Whitelandia. And I bet there's a lot of Rhodesians and South Africans and Australians that remember living in Whitelandia too. And that's been taken from us. Whitelandia has been taken from us. And there's a lot of different people doing different things who are going to try and bring back Whitelandia in some form. And so what I'm doing is I'm saying the way to bring back Whitelandia is to be Whitelandia and just to bring back Whitelandia and not ask for permission, but just to do it. Now, there's a couple things that have happened recently. Number one, you had that girl, Hendricks, the Hendricks girl out in Minnesota, and she was found guilty of disorderly conduct because a Somalian pirate gang, a gang of Somalian pirates tried to rob her using a child and then videotaped her response. This is the same thing that they did during the 1960s with the civil rights movement, is they would send a bunch of African Americans to march around in a white neighborhood. And then when the people came out and used the N-word, they would broadcast that and say, look how hateful these people are. This is called a provocation. And it's an actual military tactic used by the United States military in Afghanistan, in Iraq, against Iran, against the Russians in Ukraine. So this is a military operation which was used against the white populations of America during the 1960s to provoke a response and then use that as an excuse or a justification to use force, to use imprisonment, to use torture, to murder, to kill. And this is what the U.S. military has been doing to the white populations of America because the U.S. government is a Jesuit operations base. It's a Jesuit operations base run by the Jesuits and the Roman Catholics with their mafia partners, the Jewish mafia. So it's the Jewish mafia and the Jesuits working together. And the Roman Catholic Church has a long history of wanting to exterminate white people. If you go back to if you look at how South Africa was formed by the Huguenots migrating to the Protestant Dutch territories of South Africa to help the economy there and help build up South Africa, right? So you had a Dutch Protestant group, right? And they're colonizing South Africa. You've got the Protestant British Kingdom Empire colonizing the world. And you've got the Huguenots of France. And my race goes back to France and England and Ireland, but mostly probably French and English, and Irish, a little bit on my father's side, French and Irish. The Huguenots go from France, because they're being massacred by the Romans, by the Roman Catholic Church. They're being massacred for not wanting to be part of the Roman Church, having their own religion for their own race, and they were massacred by the Romans for this. They flee down to South Africa, and they build up South Africa into a utopia. Into utopia. And this is how it always goes. Anywhere you have white Protestant, European Protestant people, anywhere in the world, they create utopian societies. And these utopian societies must be massacred by the Romans and their Jewish partners, the Rothschilds. And that's the history of America. That's the history of Europe since the 1800s. And so there's a few things that happen. You have this Hendricks gal over in Minnesota, and she's convicted of being disorderly. She's holding a baby in her arms, and she's got some Somalian pirate videotaping her in a park. Now, in a normal society where white people were free and not slaves, this would never happen. You would never have a white woman being harassed by Somalian pirates in a park. Nobody would allow that to happen. Nobody would allow that to happen. That would never be permitted to happen, because one, it's cruel. It's perverse in every sense of the word. It's so disgusting. And this is America. You have to understand, this is the US government backing this. When you think you're going to vote a Republican because he's white and he's going to change any of this, you're wrong. You're wrong. And it's never going to happen. So it's never going to happen, because it's not happening. The Republicans will never fix that problem because they're not racially motivated. And to be racially motivated doesn't mean you have to go around hating all the other races, because I don't. It means you care about and want to perpetuate your own race. And if you don't want to perpetuate the white race, if you don't want to perpetuate the white race and Protestant Christianity, then there's something wrong with you. And I mean, if you don't understand Christianity, then I would understand you not wanting to perpetuate that. If you're one of these pagan or one of these people that just doesn't believe any of this Christianity stuff, I understand that, because you've been taught it in such a perverse way. There's no way a normal person would want to, if they heard it from one of these Zionist weirdos or some Roman guy dressed up in a pink dress with a hot pink hat on, a hot pink yarmulke on. Why would you want to be in that? I understand. I totally get it. And I could tell you what it really is in a way that would probably change your mind, but we're not doing that in this video. But understand, the white race, the European races of France and Germany and England and Ireland and all these different places, if you don't want to perpetuate that, you're no friend of mine. You're no friend of mine at all. At all. And the Pope doesn't want to. So there's a few things happening. So if you look at the one thing with the Hendricks girl, and she's convicted by the NAACP run with the Jewish mafia courts that hate the white race and want to kill us, just like the time of the Huguenots. It's like we're living in the time of the Huguenots in France, where the government, which is Roman, wants to kill you because you won't submit to their horrible system of government, which is completely trash. And you want to actually worship the logos. You want to worship the logos, which is pure, which is completely pure and devoid of all false idols. It's devoid of falsehoods. But we won't go into that today. So anyway, so we got the Hendricks thing. You've also got the Ozark guys, and I believe they just lost part of their case for doing what? For white people forming a private group where they have a private community where they exclude people based on their race, which is how America was actually founded. And so you've got, for instance, one of the things you have is you had this with the Nick Fuentes interview. And Nick Fuentes, sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. One day I like him, one day I don't. But he did this interview with this guy with Hunter Biden, crackhead Biden, right? Crackhead degenerate Biden. And the guy who was hosting the interview, I think it's called Channel 5 or something, he's going on about how he went to these Ozarks guys and he went there and he thought it was silly that they're trying to form a community based on being white when there's all these different types of white people. There's the Irish and the Germans, and there's never been a unified white culture. Dude, you know how stupid that is? You know how stupid what you just said is? That's what America is. That's how America was founded. America was founded by, first of all, you take the British, right? And then they lost to George Washington revolt. But the George Washington revolt, in my opinion, it was incited by the Jesuits. But they were still Protestants. I think they got tricked, is what I'm saying. Okay. But what did they say? They said, we're gonna in our colonies, we're gonna make a new government in the colonies. And that doesn't mean I think that that the monarchy is necessarily a good form of government. Regardless of that, they said we're gonna form our own government, in the colonies, and it's going to be for free white people, where different types of white people from Europe can come and live and be part of our new nation. That was the entire thing. So people from Germany, people from France, people from Holland, people from England, people from Scotland. You see, different types of white people are going to come to America and form a new nation. That's a whole thing. And that's what they were doing in the Ozarks, saying, well, if you're white, you're welcome to come and be part of our new nation. Same thing they did in Australia. Same thing they did in South Africa. In other words, it's the exact same thing. And you've got these Roman Catholic, Jesuit, and Jewish mafia groups saying that that never existed. Well, that was the formation of Western civilization. See, and to them, they're saying, well, Western civilization is LGBT, BLM, East Asians buying up land in Southern California and across and in Texas. And now we have Muslims running New York. See, those are that's Western civilization. No, it's not. Western civilization is the white race. And I know that you hate the white race, right? And you want to kill us, but that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not all these other things. And so the Ozarks guys lost part of their case, but I think they're still going to win in the end. And so the key is the key to winning this is I think the Ozark guys that are out there, I mean, they might be hicks and they might be unrefined. I don't know. Or maybe they're super smart. I don't really know. I've never talked to any of them. I think I've heard one or two of them being interviewed. They seem like good guys, right? But the key to it is to keep doing what you want to do. You want to live in a white community with your people. You don't want to live in this race mixing toilet culture imposed on you by the Jesuits and the Jewish mafia, the Rothschilds. You don't want that. So don't do that. Instead, keep making the thing you want. So what's going to happen is they're going to try and stop you. They're going to use the force of law to stop you. They're going to use the FBI. They're going to use the courts. They're going to try to stop you from doing what? Coming together with your people and living, forming your own communities with your own people and living. That's what they want to stop. That's what you just got to keep doing. And if they say, well, you violated this, so then you find a way to keep doing what you're doing without violating that. You see, oh, now you're violating this. Okay, well, we're going to keep doing it, but we're going to find a way to do it and not violate that rule now. But you keep finding a way. You don't give up. What they want you to do is they want you to give up on the idea that your race is going to be able to survive, that white people are going to be able to live in their own communities. They want you to give up on that and capitulate to the Jesuit syndicate of the Rothschild Roman syndicate mafia, which does what? These are the people that are inventing these deadly, deadly injections to kill everybody with. These are the people running the global porno industry, the global porn websites. That's literally run by these people. So the reason why the Romans don't speak out on it, like the Pope has nothing to say about the Jewish mafia running a global porn industry, because they're in on it. They're part of it. Those are their partners. Those are the reason why the reason if you ever listen to the Pope, what's on his mind? It's imposing immigration on Europe, all across Europe, Muslim immigration. The Pope wants to impose Muslim immigration on Europe and America and Australia. Not just Muslim, but just different, not white. This is what's in the Pope's mind. This is all he thinks about, because this is his agenda with this Jewish mafia together. The Rothschild Jesuit syndicate of Jews and Romans working together. Their entire agenda is to impose non-white populations on white people, to kill you, to impose deadly drugs to kill you. See, everything's poison. The entertainment, what the Pope has nothing to say about it, because he doesn't care. See, the entertainment is poison. The schools are poison. The education is poison. The food is poisoned. Everything is poison. Coming through Washington, D.C., coming out of Rome, coming through Washington, D.C., coming through London. It's poisonous. It's a poisonous culture designed to kill off all the formerly Protestant countries of America and Britain, which is Britain. That would be not only the United Kingdom island, but you're talking about Canada, Australia, New Zealand.